and the host only, and not those of Heidelberg Broadcasting, its ownership, or management.
Welcome, beautiful people. Good morning, arise and shine. Welcome to RFD Talk with your girl. It's your girl, Robin F. David, aka the hostess with the mostest, RFD, live here at the mighty 147. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you out there, my listeners, my WVOL listeners? Hello, hello, hello. It's Tuesday morning, top of the hour. And yes, it's that time again that we will shine and rise and have a great day here at the mighty WVOL, the mighty 147, I should say. And I am elated this morning because I have a guest in the green room. As I put on my shoes, as Mr. Rogers says, let's get shoes on, girl. Let's get ready. It's the day that the Lord has made. And I'm very excited to have a guest here waiting to share her story. But before we share her story, let me just say good morning, beautiful people. I am elated again because it's Tuesday morning. And having you here on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, like and share, leave your comments. If you're on YouTube, hello, YouTube followers, we appreciate you. Definitely leave your comments, like and share. I am so honored that you're here. Now, just to tell you a little bit about RFD. RFD, I am the CEO and I am the founder and I am your girl. I am the businesswoman that I am, right? So what I do is I service women who are dealing with hurt, disappointment, breakup, loss, and grief. I'm your holistic coach. So I am a holistic coach. I am an Amazon bestseller. I am the president of the Golden Foundation, where we help women and children thrive through violence and gun violence. So we help women learn and children learn how to heal and move through and create a better space after experiencing, unfortunately, gun violence. And so I am that girl. I'm RFD. So I'm the host with the mostest at WVOL. And I love to say that because I love all the hosts here at WVOL. And we all share our stories here. And we're all great and grateful to be here at WVOL. So I just wanted to shout myself out, of course. And this is the month of women in history. So, the month of history of women. So I've been celebrating all the women in media and all the women here at WVOL. All the personalities here are just amazing. So I am happy to be on the team and I'm happy to be here with you guys. So the RFD Talk Show, just to tell you a little bit about the RFD Talk Show. If you're a first time listener, thank you for being here. Share and leave your comments because your feedback means everything to us. And so RFD, my whole concept here is to bring simple understanding to complicated situations, taking the hard work out of self-love and self-care. So what I do is I help people with that have roadblocks, right? If you're having roadblocks, you want to tune into roadblocks in loss, grief. It could be in your personal relationships. If you want to grow spiritually and personally, you want to tune in. We'll have inspirational guests out. We'll have people come on like inspiring authors. We'll have people who will come on. We'll do a lot of self-help. We'll also have lifestyle, because definitely RFD loves to travel the world. So I'll be having people come on and talk to us about different lifestyles, beauty tips, those things, the fun things to just make life easier, even if you're facing challenges. So that's who RFD is, and that's what we bring here on the show. So thank you for being here. But we also want to thank my sponsors, because RFD show is ran and supported by the community and listeners and followers who are here, but also by my sponsors, the advertisers, and the guests who come on the show. My guests also contribute to the show being on live now about a little over 2 years. I've been here at WVOL. So I want to shout out my sponsor, which is Shay Me Down. handmade body butter. If you haven't tried Shave Me Down, I recommend you to go on to Facebook right now, get your order in. I just replaced mine, and I'm telling you, I don't like to be without it. If you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, it's normally what you see, the glow. It's the Shave Me Down. And with it being new summer weather, Shave Me Down is great for your heels. It's great to feel soft and supple and more in your skin. So it's a Shape Me Down uh, Facebook page, but it's also, you can email Shape Me Down at Shape Me Down. And across the screen, you'll see the information to Shape Me Down. I want to say 06gmail.com. And then also we have our next sponsor I'd like to thank and appreciate is Majestic Elegance and Candles and Company, which is a soybean wax candle. It's one of my favorite candles. I also, as RFD Talk, I have my signature candles are 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 created and distributed through this company. She is my distribution company. Where my favorite two with this company is lavender and peppermint. So if you ever want to have a sacred balance candle, RFD signature candle, you can order that on is the website for Majestic Candles is livemajestic.com. So check out the array of fragrance. And it's just one of those things that I like to do in the morning. I love aromatherapy in the morning. So this morning, I kicked my day off with some peppermint, burnt my little peppermint candle. Peppermint candle is great if you need invigoration in the mornings where you need to just get yourself up and get yourself going. Peppermint is my favorite for that. It's very stimulating. It wakes you, it gets you going. But then I also use lavender. So lavender is one of my favorites for self-care reasons. I love lavender in the end of my day because lavender helps me relax, helps me decompress, and helps me just become comfortable in my skin. So some days you just need a lavender candle. So check out livemajestic.com. Thank you for being a sponsor. And if you like to be a sponsor, or if you're interested in being a guest, please email. Yeah, just simply email me at rfdtalk@gmail.com. And we're definitely looking for new sponsors, and also always looking to create a sponsorship kit just for you and your business. And if you definitely want to be a guest, I have some openings for April and May. This year is quickly going past. So definitely email me or reach out to me, and we could talk about if you think that you would be a great guest on the show. And if you also know people who might want to be a guest, inbox me, email me, tell them about the show. And we're also open to having you share your music on the show. So hey, it's a lot of fun things happen in this 1 hour. So moving forward, thank you again for liking and sharing. Please like and share. And remember, I have a great guest in it. So hold tight. Don't leave yet, because we are going to hear an amazing story from a new author whose book is being released, and definitely want to know how she got to this place and her story. I'm so eager to hear more about it. So thank you for liking and sharing. We appreciate that. And now we want to talk about what was your wins for this week. Every week on my Facebook page or in my Instagram page, if you're on my Instagram page and Facebook page, thank you for being a follower there. But I ask the guests each week so you can be recognized right here on the radio show. Let me know what were your wins. Well, they could be small wins, big wins, but we want to be encouraged in the time that we're living in. There's a lot of stuff on the news, and there's a lot of unfortunate things that have happened within the same last 24 hours, right? But sometimes we gotta remember the good things that the good Lord has done for us as well. And we want to share those things so people can be encouraged and inspired, even in the midst of trying times and a lot of bad things happening or will happen on the media. Here at RFD Talk, we want to kind of shine a light on what's been going good on your life. So If you want to text or email me or tell me what your wins was, you want to go on Facebook and tell me what you want. If you want to call in, remember this is a dialogue. I am here for conversation, beautiful people. So call in. By the way, I meant to invite you to call in for the listen for our guests if you have questions for our guests. But also, if you want to call in and tell me what your wins is, let me share the number with you really quick. And the number here at the station is 615-227-1470. And again, that is 615-227-1470. Call in, dialogue with me, share your wins. So I'm waiting to hear from some of you guys. Tell me what your wins were, and while you are calling in or texting in your win, let me share a couple of my wins with you guys. This week was such a good week. I tell you, starting off great. The week has started off really good for RFD. I tell you, one of my wins for this week, just a small win, was I got to hang out with my grandkids. How many of you are grandparents out there? I mean, how many of you are living your best life when you become a grandma? That's your best life, beautiful people. I doted and brag on my amazing 5 children, and I do also have stepchildren in my divorce, right? Because I still love my stepchildren and they're amazing too. But my 5 children that my husband and I created, my ex-husband and I created together, I always brag about them, but I don't get to brag enough about my grandchildren. The word grand, that's exactly what it is. If you have grandchildren, let me know how you enjoy being a grandparent. One of the things I got to do was go to the park with my grandsons. That was a win for me. I was able to go to Murfreesboro this week, and I don't normally go up to Murfreesboro that much, even though my home church is in Murfreesboro. But that commute is real for me, that 45-minute drive. And so my grandkids, hanging out with them at the park was so much fun, watching them run around and play and me trying to keep up with them, and then them just laughing. It's spring break, just hearing the children laugh and watching the parents enjoy their season as a parent is really cool for me. So being a grandma was one of my wins and hanging out with my grandchildren. But the other win this week actually was just really, again, I got to finish, I did some yoga. I'm on week 4 in my yoga, and that's been really working out pretty good. I've been very conscious about adding my water into my system. So those are a couple of my wins. I had one other win I wanted to say. I know I hung out with my grandchildren, which was really cool. Forgive me, I forgot what that win was, but it was another win. Just being here at the radio station with you guys every week, that's a win. So if you have a win, please, each and every week, let us know what your wins are, and your win may be recognized or may be talked about here on the show, so it can encourage other people. So I hope I inspire you to share your wins. All right. So that is that. And we're going to be celebrating, still finishing the month, celebrating women's international women and celebrating women and telling their stories. And that's why I'm super excited to have this guest, and we're going to have her on. But first, before we get the guest on, we always do this at the RFD show. We're going to do our 3 breaths. Then we're going to take a commercial. And once we do our 3 breaths and take our commercials, then we're going to come back after the commercial break. We're going to come back with our lovely guest, Miss Sherry Bobbitt, Miss Sherry Jones Bobbitt, excuse me. So every week on the show, we take a deep breath. And let's talk about that. Why do RFD believe in taking deep breaths? Now, let me tell you, RFD is a prayer warrior. I believe in speaking to the Most High, praying to the Most High. I talk. I probably even talk in my sleep. Mr. H be like, when the show be over, he's like, she still want to talk. So I talk all the time, right? But the key to communication, I have to just tell you guys, I had a young lady ask me yesterday. She said, well, what is it that you really like, RFD? I talk. I told her, Mr. H, it's that simple. I don't know what she want from me. I said, I'm a speaker. I don't know what you want me to say, young lady. I'm like, it's not like something grand. 23 years ago, I started speaking and facilitating. I talk. And what it does is it just get clear on your platform. And so media is a fun place that I am honored that the Most High called me to. But I talk. So basically I knew that, right? God, like, oh, she's going to talk. She's going to pray. I will pray the hell out of something. I didn't pray the hell out. And then God be like, but can you listen? So I can tell you what your next step is, Robin. So 80% of communication, the 80-20 thing, everything is 80-20. So 80% of communication is being still, being quiet. It's, really, really hearing what the Lord has to say back to you in prayer. And, we kind of like always be like, I don't know if that's God talking to me. Oh, yeah, that's him. He's talking to you. But for me, sitting still and meditating and just listening and feeling my feelings and staying present with myself. So breath work, I actually do a at-home breath work program, and I definitely would love for you to sign up about it. Breath work has helped me become present and able to hear what is the Lord saying to me? What is my next instruction in the day? Like sometimes we get out on our rat race in life and we're just rushing to the day and we're just rushing, going, going, going. But sometimes we just got to stop, breathe, and take those deep breaths and get connected with our body and get connected with our feelings and get connected with what's the next step, God. Just remind ourselves that He is with us and that He is guiding you and He is your GPS and He has your next turn. We listen for the GPS to tell us to turn left. Well, it's the same way with breath work for me. I have to meditate every morning and a lot of times at night before I go to bed. It's a mandatory thing for me to just sit still, go into a state of gratitude, breathe. And breath for me, the breath work program is set up that you do it at home. It's every other Sunday. I'll do a breath work program, and it's just $12.99. And it helps you to learn how to just be present and be still. And once you're being still, it helps you reset and it helps you restore. So those are the three things and it helps me with my anxiety. It helps me become centered. It helps me to be present, and which being present is the major gift that God gives us, because without the living breath, there is no life at all. And so for me, it's like the Holy Spirit and I become one when I touch and I breathe. I know that He is giving me the opportunity to breathe, and it's a gift. So it's a part of my spiritual practices. So we're going to do that every week here on RFD Talk Show. I take the 3 deep breaths before we go into talking to the guest, before we go into the other part of the segment, just so that you listeners can become centered and come clear and become grounded. So let's take these 3 breaths. And so I'm just going to say inhale, I'm going to say exhale. And because I believe that you hear your internal voice, your inner voice will speak to you, I say you will be able to just calm yourself with the breath. So I always say you breathe in what you need. If you need more love from God, if you need more peace, whatever you need, you breathe that in, right? If you need this to be a good day, just breathe in. This is going to be a good day. And then you're going to exhale out what you don't need. It's whatever negative things that you woke up with today, you're just going to let it out. Just want to breathe in deeply. I'm going to breathe out. So let's do that. And then we'll get ready for the show. We're going to have a commercial after the breath work, and then we'll have our guest. So let's do this. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, deep breath, and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. All right, beautiful people. Are you feeling centered? Are you feeling at peace? So how are you feeling is what RFD would like to know. How you feeling, beautiful people, after you center yourself? Let's get this commercial and we'll be right back.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by low-cost airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts
Be on
on
my page, and you'll be on my YouTube,
500,000 hotels.
and you can always share it
You
from
call
there.
and mention the discount code 60 plus. We'll give you
Get
an
yourself
extra free
comfortable.
night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network. Mention the discount code 60 plus for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
210-503-9283. 210-503-9283. 210-503-9283. That's 210-503-9283. Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. 800-221-2261. That's 800-221-2261.
Hello, welcome back, beautiful people. Welcome back to RFD Talk live here at the mighty 147 WVOL, Nashville's Heritage Radio Station. And we are super honored because someone has stepped in the room and we can't wait to hear her story. Before we hear your story, I definitely want to remind the listeners too, if you're on Facebook, your comments are important. This is the time to like and share and join us and share with your followers, please, so we can get this message to more followers and listeners about this great new author, so we can get her book at the top of the chart. But also, before we go into that, I definitely want to share, we have another segment that I do every week, Miss Sherry, and it's called the word, Miss Sherry, the word. Well, good morning. Thank you. Good morning, Mario. I think that's Mario Johnson. Thank you for being here, Mr. Johnson. We appreciate you. Good morning. Thank you for being here, Jasmine. We appreciate you. Yes, thank you. We appreciate all of our Facebook followers, all the comments and listeners here at WVOL. We have a word that we say every week. I just want to make sure, if you're following me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll notice that every week I have a word. The Lord gives me a word. Yes, he does. What did the Lord say to RFD? And the Lord said to me, Sherry, the word for today is prepared. Prepared, preparation. And I didn't look the word up today, y'all. I normally look it up on Google, but the Holy Spirit was giving me. Oh, we have a caller. So hold on. We'll get back to the word.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Well, my favorite lady is doing two of you anyway.
Hello, is that Pastor Judy?
Girl, you know it is.
Well, we love you. We love you, Queen.
Thank you. I did my breathing exercises. I needed it, okay?
Okay, I'm glad you centered and you're feeling good.
Yes, I am, and I'm enjoying the show. And Sherry, I know you're going to talk about the book, right?
Yes.
So my favorite part of the book is the hurricane season. So please put emphasis on that.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Because everybody has them. Everybody has them. And I love you guys. And I want to go and let you interview her, Robin. And I'll talk to you girls later. Okay, love you.
We love you, Pastor Judy. We love you. Oh my God, the best call ever, you guys, was from Pastor Judy. Hey, Pastor Judy. And we love her because Pastor Judy, we just got to go back there. Pastor Judy prepared this session. I met you on Pastor Judy's show, right? So Thank you, Pastor Judy, for definitely bringing the Holy Spirit in and letting us start from that place. And I love what she wants to talk about. Because Pastor Judy didn't read the book, y'all. I got to get my copy. Pastor Judy didn't read the book. Hallelujah. And so we're going to talk about that, right? And so I met this beautiful lady on this radio show right here, WVOL. And it was love at first sight. Because she's such a, oh my God, you just want to have her as your friend forever, if many of you know. And you invited me to your birthday party, which I'm the person that I love people. I fell in love with her right away. But when I got her birthday invite, right, I was like, Lord, this is so nice because I really like her. And to go celebrate her birthday, and I work a lot. So I work home and church. I was just telling my oldest daughter that the other day, who's on the show. When I first moved to Tennessee, it just work, church, and home and kids. And now the kids are grown, I just home, church, and work. And so when you invited me to come out and dance, and y'all know RFD like to dance.
Me too.
She said her too. You like to dance too?
Yes.
And so you're going to dance with me at the end of the show?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm super excited. We're going to do a reel. I got to do a reel. Mr. H, I got him broken as my producer. He's always catching me do 10 seconds of dancing. So I get to dance with Miss Sherry today. But yeah, so we went to her birthday party. Thank you again for inviting me.
Pleasure.
I need to get out the house sometimes. That's very important for me. So it really was a blessing. Y'all don't know how that really, I was like, I love this lady. And her birthday party was so much fun. I got to put on my denims and it was denim and diamonds. And I felt pretty, and I got to meet her beautiful family. And she has such wonderful friends and family and community. I was just like, I really love this lady. So with no further ado, like I said, the word for the week that the Lord gave me was prepare. And so let me know what that word means for you guys through the week. Prepare, preparation. And for me, it's symbolical, as God was teaching me, that preparation and being prepared for the unexpected. So sometimes, the whole saying is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So Sherry, tell us who you are and more about your story. Thank you.
My name is Sherry Yvonne Jones Bobbitt. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, but have made Nashville my home. And I am blessed to be a new author. So glad to see that my editor, publisher, and illustrator have tuned in this morning. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Brenda. And I just, you were talking about pain one day on your show, and I can say that it was pain that brought me to this moment because I lost my husband of 32 years, and a promise I made to him minutes before his passing. Had no idea he was going to leave me that fast, but he made me promise him to write our story. And the title of my book is The Prayers That He Prayed for Me, and it's just a book filled with our prayer life, our prayer journey. And it didn't start in the church. And I'm so glad to say it that way, because a lot of people think that they have to go to church to meet God, to talk to God. And for whatever his reason, he felt the need to begin to pray for me even before I became his wife. I was only his girlfriend for 3 weeks, and he felt the need to pray for me. And the amazing thing, as the first chapter reads, Pastor Judy, that our prayer life began in a hotel room. I wasn't expecting to pray that evening, but this is what he said we needed to start doing. He said, after all, you're going to become my wife, and I need to be able to cover you. And I found that spiritually sexy, if that's a word, that's my word. I found it to be spiritual intimacy, something beyond sex, something beyond the regular touching and feeling, because it touched my soul. And it brought us through a lot of things that most couples normally wouldn't have survived.
Wow. Oh, I'm sitting up here like, wow, this story is so beautiful, Miss Sherry. I just say this? You saying that when y'all met, it was instantly love, and he decided the prayer for you was the first thing he wanted to do before, like just kissing all on you. He wanted to like, I want to pray with you. Yes.
Well, we had been together for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So the touching and all that had all taken place.
Okay, cool.
And,
I love it. I love it.
The first time he saw me face to face, he said, "I love you." And I was shocked. I was a bartender at the time, and I'm like, this man is crazy. And I said, "You just met me." And he said, "Well, you love me too." And I really did. I was really feeling something for him, and just not wanting to fall in love with the Tennessee man. That was my pet peeve. I'm from St. Louis. What's up, the Lou? And I just did not want to be involved with anybody from my mother's little country hometown of Trenton, Tennessee. But as fate has it, we just were an item. We were just perfect for each other, and we didn't let nothing get in our way.
That's a beautiful story. I love how you said that y'all didn't let anything get in your way, and prayer is so very powerful. So he started praying for you, was able to receive this great man in your life, and tell us more.
Well, after we started praying together, I thought it was maybe a one-time thing. He was caught up in some type of moment, but then prayer became an everyday life thing for us. First thing in the morning, and most people would say, "Well, God wouldn't hear your prayers." I believe God did hear our prayers. Though we were living together, we were not in church, but we were praying every day.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did get in church, we were excited to find out that it was written in the word that a husband should honor his wife in such a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that made him even more appealing to me, because I'm like, oh man, here I got this sexy, tall, dark Mandinka warrior, and he's doing the things that the word of God says he should do. And it just made our prayer life more special.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were behooved to find out that even with church leadership, that pastors and their spouses weren't praying like we were praying. And I mean, we took it beyond prayer. We fasted together. We had shut-ins together. Had nothing to do with the church, because we were doing these things before we got in church. My husband was traditional Methodist. So he was brought up in a Methodist church straight away, like most young folks do when you get grown. And never been baptized, never really read the Bible. But he felt the strong need to keep me covered in prayer. And he would always tell me that you're special. You're special.
Oh, I love it. That is so important. That you said that you are special. I could tell why your husband would say that. Beautiful. When I see your pictures and you all, because how long were you all married again?
We were together 32 years.
32
married
years.
28.
28. Wow, that is a legacy to leave. Because a lot of us will not have that story to say how. But what I love about your story is the power of prayer. And I am definitely an advocate of the power of prayer. And it does change things. It's so funny that you said that, because I was just talking to one of my friends. And we were talking last night. And she said, "But Robert, you prayed a lot." I was in a long-term marriage. She said, "You prayed a lot for that man." I did, girl. And so I do believe that the prayers of the righteous man availeth much. I do believe that just as for me to stay that long, that I was in that marriage, that God also is still granting those answered prayers that you're seeing today, of you writing your books, how the prayers are still manifesting in the earth. The things that he prayed over you is still showing up, because you're honoring him in a mighty way by writing this book and telling your story. And so it's amazing that you said that for him not to be in the church, or for you all not to be in the church, which is the organization of church, but you all had the spirit of the living God. And that's what I hear, that you said y'all had this, y'all knew y'all were in touch with the spirit of the living God. And that's power in itself.
And I found that to be sexy.
I love how she uses sexy. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear? But you got to see her pictures with him when they were young. She found it to be sexy that he was praying, which is powerful. But she was such a doll, and her husband, y'all made such a cute couple. The
Thank
pictures that you
you.
share with us on
Thank you.
Facebook, I always go on there and I'll be like, they were just so freaking cute together. And so I knew that like y'all just look like a picture made in heaven when I look at y'all's pictures. So tell us a little bit more on the whole grief. And I remember Pastor Judy was saying something about the chapter, the hurricane. So you might want to talk about
hurricane season.
the hurricane season if you
The
want to talk
grief
about.
process was extremely hard because I was totally believing for that but God testimony, but it did not happen. God had other plans. I did not understand the plans. Definitely unashamed to say, very transparent about how I was angry with God. I just lost my mother, grandmother, and a few other close relatives within 9 months. And then here's my husband within this 9 months. And it was a bit much for me. And just so many things bombarding me, what seemed like to me. But it stayed with me, the promise that I made him. And we never made promises to each other that we didn't try to keep. And so when I started preparing the book, and it was like the prayers he prayed for me, and I thought it would be just a wonderful tool for others to read, but I didn't realize how it would help me as well, because I am in a better place than where I was when I started writing the book. And it took me to some places of deep pain and hurt with the loss of my child, our only child, and the way that happened. And I think the most devastating thing that we went through is what I call our hurricane season. And I call that my Romans 8:28 season, where the all things took place. And to talk about the hurricane season, my husband had a drug addiction problem. And it was just tough. All I knew to do was pray. I didn't fight him on it. I wasn't the kind of wife that threw it up in his face all the time, badgering and doing all those things, because I'm, for one, I like to keep peace if I can. That's just my pet peeve. If I can keep peace, let's keep the peace. And so, unfortunately, there was a lie told on me while he had been in the dope house for a couple of days. I knew where he was. If I needed him, I knew how to get in contact with him. But he was a man about business. He took care of business at home. So it wasn't like he was on drugs and bills were suffering. We were hungry or anything like that. He just was a weekend drug addict. And so unfortunately, this lie was told on me that I was with another man, which wasn't true. And he came home and he jumped on me. And it's just like a weird thing for some people to intake, but it was like I literally watched myself being jumped on. And for the life of me, I could not stop loving this man. I tried. I even had my little pep talk about I look too beautiful. I am too this and I am too that. And I could always go home because Tennessee was not my home. And I just found myself praying for him. And I felt stupid praying for him. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with my father that I didn't have a good relationship at the time. And his first intake was to get somebody to come jump on him from St. Louis, East St. Louis. That was so easy to do because we lived in the hood, tight-knit community of Warner Park. And instead, my father didn't come to me as hood dad. That's who I wanted, hood dad. Instead, my father said, pray for him. I couldn't believe my father. It was like, you cussing me out. You're asking me to pray for this man. He hurt me. And but the truth is, I was already praying for him. And I would beg God to turn off the love. Just turn it off, God. Just if I cannot not love him, then I can go home. I can move on. But I just couldn't turn off the love. And in this particular chapter, the hurricane season, we both found out after the fact, but he's in a jail cell in the county jail in Trenton, Tennessee. I'm on my mother's porch at my great-grandmother's house, and it's midnight. And I'm praying, wondering if he's praying, and he's in his cell praying, wonder if I'm praying. And I sat outside on the porch until the sun came up. And I just cried and I prayed. And Now, I do have to admit that there were times where I felt like that if I had 5 minutes alone with him and a pair of brass knuckles, that part right there.
I like that.
Part
I
right
understand
there.
the human side of your experience.
But I just couldn't, and I just began to pray. And when my father said pray, and my father began to read scriptures with me, it just changed my whole outlook on my situation. I just began to believe that there was nothing impossible for God. And I needed that proven. I needed that proven. And it took me a minute to see him, to talk to him, to get myself together. But the day I did finally go to see him in jail, we couldn't even talk. We just looked at each other crying. Something out of a movie, because I love love stories.
I do too. This is such a good one.
It was just one of those things where I knew what I wanted. And I just told myself one day, the person that told the lie, the people that believed the lie, my mother calling me everything but her own child during that season. And I do have my mom's blessings, because she said she should have been a better person during that season of my life. So the story that I have written, I do have my mom's blessings on her role in my life at that time, which wasn't a good role. I was sort of cast out to sea by myself, with only a few people just to be there for me, to console me, to encourage me, just to hold my hand and let me cry. Because what can you say? You really can't say when you love two people and these two people have a situation, and you want to be careful with what you say. And I just thank God for Sylvia Johnson, my husband's first cousin that lives in Trenton, Tennessee, that just being that hand holder, just being that person that sit there with you and let you cry when you can't say anything, because I was just that numb. But I did let my husband know that this can't happen anymore. I believe God. I believe what God was telling me. I believe the ushering from God to move forward, and forgiveness. So many people harbor unforgiveness, and I knew if I held on to unforgiveness, I could not love. And I was looking for love. I didn't want love the way we had it before the incident. I wanted love on a new level. And that's the way I feel like that love should move. If you have a new anniversary, that's love on the next level. What are you going to do with that love? And so God blessed us, and I knew it was God, because 25 years is what they were trying to give him. But he ended up doing less than 3 months in the county jail. And from that point on, it was just a beautiful relationship. Yeah, we went through the thing where people were calling me mostly dumb and stupid and crazy and all that kind of stuff. And we weathered that storm together. When we first went back to church together, we weathered that storm together. I went to church and got my feelings hurt while he was in jail. And I said, I'll never go back to the four walls again. And then he insisted that we go. He gave me time. We went. And just for us to have those mixed emotions and clinging to each other like two little frail children, wondering, God, if you told us to stay together, why isn't everybody else with the program? And then we found ourselves that at the end of the day, this is about us and God. And as I always tell people, and meaning no harm to him, T.D. Jakes wrote the book about the lady, the lover, and her Lord. And I thought myself, well, see, he doesn't know the lady's perspective. He wrote it from his perspective. But I know what it is to have a relationship with my lover and my Lord and my lover. And most of my struggle has been that it's just me and my Lord now, and not me, my Lord, and my lover, because I came to this place with my lover. To be introduced to my Lord.
Wow. Woo. Oh, Lord, this love story is amazing. I love you guys. You guys, I am just over here with the amazing woman of God. I mean, whew, Like when my friends tell me I pray, but I understand this more than I can express. Because what I mean is that is something what you said there. You are now with the Lord and you, but there was you, your lover, in the Lord, in the absence of your lover. So wow, 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 and wow. That right there, to death do you part. That part right there, standing in the place of, you mentioned forgiveness. When others have their mouth all around you and talking against it, right? You wonder where did my support come from? But only from the Lord. You knew that you could trust that impossible love that He gave, that unconditional love for your mate. Your story is so beautiful. I'm a hopeful romantic, and this story is the best. I can't wait to get your book. I can't wait to get your book, girl. So, and other books, and so right there, for the lovers and people are married, what would you tell them when the hurricane comes?
First of all, get to a place where you can communicate with each other. Talking to each other is so beautiful. To even not talking, because also in my book is called a chapter called the prayerless moment, where we were so angry with each other at one time we could not talk. So even if you can't talk to each other, sit with each other. Be cordial toward one another. Just keep other people, I can't say this enough, out of your business. Because at the end of the day, it's communication between you and God and that individual. And if you continue to pray and you're faithful in that prayer and you do the work, because it takes diligence. You just can't pray and then want to bring up and hash up old things. So I think that was one of the secret in the sauce for me, is that I never threw up in his face about the bad things. And I've done things too, but he said compared to the things he did in the marriage, I did mostly next to nothing. And so he would always say, Sugar Britches. And I would say, yes, Big Daddy, because those were our names.
I love it. What is those names again, girl? Say that one more time. They are so freaking cute. I love it.
Big Daddy and Sugar Britches.
Sugar Britches.
So anybody that knows us personally knew that I was Sugar Britches.
Oh, I love it.
I know we're on the radio. I can't say why, but he would tell you why he felt that way.
I'm telling you, y'all, I think this marriage was made here on heaven and earth right here. Like your marriage is a heaven and earth marriage, right? Because it's eternal. It's always. It's a good thing to hear in the time that we live in, where all relationships are not as wholesome as they used to be. People are doing different things in relationships, but now you're saying and you're telling people, no, we can have a healthy monogamous relationship with the right person. So when did we had a question here. One of the persons, I want to go back if anybody have questions. And somebody said they can't wait to read the book. Somebody said for better or worse. Somebody said, wow, your story is but God's story, especially the power of prayer and forgiveness. That part, that right? We said that. Thank you for your comments. Yes, the sugar daddy and Sugar Britches. We love that. Someone loved that. So someone asked also, Pastor, she said, when did your husband introduce you to Christ? Because you all were outside of church when I think it was Pastor Judy. She wanted to know, tell the listeners, when did you all decided to really add Christ into your life? Was it when did y'all go back to church or start going to church?
It was a while before. We would visit church, but we weren't in church.
Okay.
And after we met for 3 weeks, and he wanted to pray that first time, and we continued to pray, and a dear cousin of mine, a dear friend of his, invited us to start coming to church. And there we were, living together, not married, but working diligently in the church. And he had already proposed, but I wasn't ready for marriage, because I dreamed from a little girl. The teacher asked you in kindergarten, first grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? I didn't want to be a clown. I didn't want to be a ballerina. I wanted to be a wife. Because to me, wives were important. And I wanted to be a good wife. I wanted to be a loving wife. I wanted to be a sexy wife. And a number of times my mother has spanked my hands, my face, or my butt, anything she can spank, because at 5 years old, I had these thoughts. And it was hard for her to help me channel this. And I've just been a romantic all my life. So when I got to the point where I started really implementing and praying and praying for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little secret out there. It's a little book that's on the way in the making about the prayers that I have prayed for him as well.
Oh, we have another book coming.
Yes. And so just when we decided to go to church, and he told me that he had spent time with God, and that we need to go ahead and get married. And that way we would know God on a more intimate level. And that Christmas, before we got married, Christmas of 1988, I can say that that was the introduction to Christ, as to get into the point of trying to do things the right way, because we were living together. But and I didn't feel a need to change that. He did. A lot of people feel like the woman makes those. No, he made, and this is what makes it so beautiful to me, is because the initiation came from him, not me. I felt like as long as I was, that was all I needed. And then I didn't know how much I needed the Lord in our life. You know, though we were praying, I didn't understand the impact. And once I really got into the Word and I understood the impact, and then I learned how to watch and pray. And what I didn't want is I didn't want false perception of us, because you would see so much leadership in the church and people in the church, and they're loving on each other at church. But then when we get home, there's all breaking loose. And we were the kind of couple, even when I had a season to pastor, everybody understood, you just can't call me any old time, because I know how to take the pastor hat off, the preacher hat off, because when I'm at home, I'm sugar britches. I love it. And that was a struggle for me to accept the calling, because I wanted to make sure that I can maintain my love life with my husband and do the things that God has called me to do, because he didn't ask me to man up for the job, nor did he ask me to deny my husband to do the work of the Lord. So I learned how to balance that well, and it worked out great for both of us.
I love that, because that's the key. I feel like what you just said was so relevant in this time, when you talk about people who are married and they play a role, right, on platforms, as church platforms, some church platform people, right, but they go home and they don't have this balance, right, because they forget to take that hat off, and they have all that going on, so it causes all this division and unpeace, and like you said, can be some chaos behind the titles, and you don't feel the love of that couple. But every couple has to have a balance. I talk about sacred balance. That makes me think about it. And the reason it makes me think about sacred balance is, for being a woman, the woman has to know her roles at all times, right? You have to know, and it's sacred. It's sacred between you and the Lord. So they say, well, where do you get sacred balance from? Because I'm not you, you're not me. This is me and the Lord. And if you know, at the time you're married or if you are single, it's you and the Lord. So this is a sacred way of under the holy matrimony, is what your husband was saying. Like when he took you on as his bride, to me, it was a sacred thing. You took it as it's very private. It's between me and God. It's in my lover. It's not about what other people's perception is. A lot of times, it's like, what is God telling you in prayer to demonstrate with that hat? Like, okay, I'm a minister at church, but at home, I'm his sugar bridges, right?
And he was the priest of his household.
So that's what I'm saying. Just understanding that balance. I think sometimes we lose balance when we have so many different titles, and we don't know when those roles to be cut off. Sometimes I feel like some people run over, they do too much, they put too much on their plate, then they're not able to be that priest of their household, because they're overdoing for someone else or other people. You know what I'm saying? Like not knowing how to create that. So that makes any sense?
I believe prayer kept us balanced.
I do.
I just believe all day long, because my husband would say that he needed prayer, because prayer in his relationship with God, he can count on prayer and fleecing after God to do things that he knew that was impossible for him to do for me as his wife. So he realized that he was the man, but he wasn't the man. And so he often let people know that she may be the pastor at the church, but I'm still the priest of the household. It doesn't make me less of a man, nor did I put him in a position in that way. And I think that when one respects each other, respect is the key thing, no matter how high one or the other may get. Respect. You can pray, but do you have respect for the individual? Do you respect that person as your spouse and their role within your marriage?
That's very good. I love it. So do anyone have any other questions? We're going to be wrapping up. What other part of the book do you want to share? Does anyone want to call in? You can call in if you have questions for Ms. Sherry. Please call in at 615-227-1470. We have about 3 more minutes with her before we'll be cutting off this live. Yes, respect is the key. I agree with you. Yes, we all agree. That is so important. What other part of the book that you want to share?
The last chapter, that was the hardest chapter. My editor and publisher and my play son Mario Johnson can contest this, along with my other friends that are on. I can see on the line, Miss Sheila, Felicia, and other people that it was just the fact that I did not know that my husband was going to pass away so soon. The doctors told us 6 months to a year. He left the same day, and that was devastating to me. So I have to remind people, when I say I was angry with God, and the thing about my anger with God is God knew I was going to be angry before I knew I got angry, and He knew that I was going to push through and be right here when I didn't know I was going to be right here, and be as sane as I am, because that was a very devastating thing. Because I a person you pray with all day long, and we were one of those couples. It's funny, they put it on Facebook now. You can be angry with each other and still, good morning, still fix his lunch. Well, what was it you wanted, And then we knew how to get to each other. We never stopped being each other's girlfriend and boyfriend. And so in the last chapter, when I talk about my pain, and I think that people should give people time to grieve, because you don't know from the depths of what they're grieving from. You have no idea, because like I tell anybody, you weren't on the receiving end of the love that man gave. I was. So it's a total loss. I've been with only one person and one person only for 32 years. I adored being Mrs. James Lynn Bobbitt. We look at each other and praise God for each other. And I know for some people that it's not common, but that was common for the Bobbitts. And that's all that matters to me. It's what was within the Bobbitt home. Everybody else's home, that's your home. You do what works for you. We did what worked for us.
Wow. Congratulations to your book, your upcoming books, and getting through that last chapter. That was a pain and push. I get it, because you're so right about grief. Every stage and level is different. It's personal. So congratulations that you found a way to know that God still have you landing in victory and triumph and peace and all those good things and joy that the Lord has showed on today. So if anyone have any last questions, when will the book be? Yep. Thank you for being there. Thank you. When should we expect the book? Thank you.
Prayerfully in a few weeks.
Prayerfully in a few weeks.
Yes.
So are you taking pre-orders? Is there a way for people to get their pre-orders in?
Yes, we've already started taking pre-orders, and you can hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Messenger. My Cash App is $, all caps, SHBOBB. Excited about it all. My book signing party is June 3rd. That's on a Saturday, and it'll be at the Maxwell Millennium Hotel from 5 to 10. Very excited about that. And even with all that's going on, my husband prayed for exactly where I am. Exactly where I am, even down to the location for my book signing place. I told him I would love to have it somewhere like that, our first time being there. And he said, honey, I'll do the best I can for that to happen. And to God be the glory, I believe that was a prayer that I didn't get to hear. Because I will be there.
Yes! We got to be at this signing, guys. We are at the end of this show. Miss Sherry, please come back. I got to show the cover. If you guys are watching, you got to see the cover, how handsome her king is, Sugar Daddy, and Sweet Bridges. What is it, Sugar Bridges?
Sugar Bridges and Big Daddy.
Yes, so cute together. I'm talking about adorable couple. Thank you. And please come back and share more about all the great things that prayer and pain and purpose all come together with you.
Thank
Sherry.
you for having me.
You are the best, girl. I love you. I love this lady. Thank you, listeners. We appreciate you. Let me slow down. I get excited and all my words get all tied up. But thank you all for being here. Hey, it has been an amazing day here at the WVOL and with the RFD Talk. We'll see you next week. I'm sending you big hugs and love. Hey, till next week, tune back in. Okay? For more. Love you guys.
Nashville.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario, for being here. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you guys. Till next time. Signing out. Bye. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your feedback.